Please welcome Jani.
Everyone, welcome.
All right. Do we get the slides? OK, great. OK, so I'm Jani. I'm CEO and founder of Transfluent. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the stigma that has been associated with crowdsourcing since pretty much it was started a few years ago. But before I go into my presentation, I want to show you 1 minute quick video. It's not quite the Iron Sky type of quality, but it tells what we are doing right now with Transfluent, because it kind of has to do with crowdsourcing quite a bit.
Mia has some great news to announce about her global business. Her enthusiasm is soon dampened by the reality of having to create viable language versions of her message and publishing them separately within what is already a busy schedule. With Transfluent, she only has to post once in her own language. And a professional translation appears in all of her social media feeds and websites in just 15 minutes. Even though the process is automated, all the actual translations are done by professional human translators that are ready to translate Mia's messages into over 50 languages 24 hours a day. With Transfluent, she can expect genuine contacts, reactions, and customers from all over the world with a single effort. Can you believe it? Try it for free.
All right, so what we're doing is only possible because of this technique called crowdsourcing. But the thing is, we are crowdsourcing from a group of professional translators. And if you go to Wikipedia, which also is crowdsourced, by the way, what they define crowdsourcing as is an act of sourcing from an unknown group of people. Which, when you think about that, it sounds kind of scary, because if you have somebody, just completely random person from another side, from the other side of the world, translate your business image, it sounds like it could be anything. You have no control over the quality at all. So my question is, like, why would it have to be that way? I mean, why would we want to define crowdsourcing as something that is completely uncontrollable, that anyone from anywhere in the world can do the work? So when we go over the thought of crowdsourcing something, then the first thing we actually should think about is, what is the crowd? When we are sourcing translations, then probably we would like the crowd to be pretty good at translating the things. When we are doing art, we probably would like to source the work to artists. So kind of like the basic idea of crowdsourcing should be that the crowd is defined. It's not some unknown, undefined entity. So what you get by crowdsourcing is you get speed, because you have a lot of people. Anytime you need any work done, you will immediately find somebody to do the work. So that's a positive. There is almost no overhead, because you don't need to have an office where the people are. You can just expect them to be working wherever they happen to be at the time. And it's extremely scalable, because you can actually send the requests over to the crowd that is out there on the internet. So there is no physical limit on how big the crowd can be. But the disadvantages typically are that if you don't know who they are, you don't know the quality of the work they do. You don't know if they're going to steal your work. If there's somebody in China helping out on your project, then you don't know if they're just going to take over your blueprints and distribute them or sell them over to somebody else. So my suggestion is that what we define the crowdsourcing as is that we always control the crowd. And when you I know I'm kind of repeating myself on that, but that's just basically the core of what we've been doing with Transfluent as well. We collected a crowd of 15,000 translators who are all professional, who are all passed a test that they actually have to be qualified for the work they do. And they all will be paid for the work they do. So they have a very good incentive of delivering the type of work that you expect. If they don't deliver, you will fire them. As easy as that. There are not going to be any issues with IP protection, because if you need that kind of protection, you can expect them to sign an NDA or any kind of contract, because if they don't, then they will not be paid. You are the controller of the crowd. And this leads to another misconception. Often people think of crowdsourcing as something where you can just get work done for free. But if you are getting the work done for free, then you can expect it to be pretty low quality. You basically get what you pay for. What crowdsourcing should be used for is a technique that will get you quick results, will get you scalability, but it doesn't necessarily automatically mean that you don't need to pay for the work. If you treat crowdsourcing as something where you actually prepare to pay an actually reasonable rate so that the people in your crowd can actually treat it as a real job, you can expect to get professional quality results. And we are doing that with Transfluent right now, and I can tell you it works. The results we are getting are on the same level as you can get from a professional translation agency. These are basically people who normally work in a translation agency, but they choose to work for us because it's so much more interesting jobs all the time, because you can work at the times and so forth. So crowdsourcing for them is a way of enjoying their work more while still getting paid the same amount of money. So basically, to sum it up, don't think of crowdsourcing as a way of getting cheap labor or any type of malpractice. Think of it as just a technique. Think of it as a way of collecting a group of people together when whoever is available next will do the job, so that you will always have a group of people around you, so to speak. When you need something done, the next person will grab it and do the work. You're sourcing it from a crowd. You're not sourcing it from an individual. But the rest of that should be, you should always treat the crowd as a valuable workforce. They are all like employees to you. They should be paid for the work they do. You should define clear rules of the work. If there needs to be a contract, ask them to sign the contract. Don't think that just because it's a crowd, you're not entitled to the same level of protection you get from a real workforce. And expect to pay well. Then you will get high quality. That's basically what I'm thinking right now. Is that there's been a lot of startups recently that crowdsource translations and then sell them cheap on the internet. But when you go on those websites and try out the service, you actually get really bad quality because they are paying like few cents a word, and they're getting students or they're getting some, really low-paid people who don't have any other jobs, and they don't actually have language skills. But they take the job because it's easy to sign up for a website, and they do translations in a really bad quality. And the only reason is that because the companies running the crowdsourcing service are not treating their people right. They're not expecting them to deliver well. They just think of crowdsourcing as something that gives you, quick results. And when that happens more and more, the expectations from the general public is that crowdsourcing is not going to be a good quality source. And over time, that's going to just destroy the full potential of crowdsourcing because, like in our marketing, we don't generally speak about crowdsourcing because of the tarnished reputation that these certain companies have caused. A lot of people think of crowdsourcing as something that is not good quality. So if we say we are crowdsourcing our translations, they think that, okay, well, it's kind of like machine translation. It must suck. And I'd hope everybody to kind of help me correct this image by treating crowdsourcing as just a technique. So I'd like to propose that the crowd over here will go to Wikipedia and update the definition that is over there. Anybody can go to Wikipedia. Anybody can go update that. So what we could just do as a group is go there, remove the description that the crowd would be undefined, because it doesn't have to be. It can be defined. It can be undefined. But basically, crowdsourcing should not define what the crowd is. And that's all. But unfortunately, I don't have time for questions now because I'm going to have to go to the other stage to do some pitching. But it's been a pleasure to talk, and I'll be at the panel later today to talk more about crowdsourcing. Thank you.